I've called this a activist basketball league, and we signed one of the lead activists. It's unbelievable. Somebody that has vocally talked shit about Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever fans. The outrage is real. Go look at Turner's Twitter X feed, and it is Activist Central. I hope the Indiana Fever know what they're doing, because they've got a whole lot of new fans, and a lot of those new fans support this president that is in office. Brianna Turner, he's doing exactly what I voted him in to do. He is overwhelmingly getting positive marks.
The Indiana Fever just made a massive mistake, and fans are furious. Brianna Turner, a player more focused on pushing political agendas than actually playing basketball, has been exposed for blocking Fever and Caitlin Clark fans simply because she can't handle criticism.
Brianna Turner signed with the Indiana Fever. You can only imagine how this player feels about the Indiana Fever fan base. She hates your ass. I'm going to call her out for not only blocking people like me because she can't stand the heat. Get the hell out of the kitchen.
This is becoming a disturbing trend in the WNBA. Players talk trash, stir up controversy, and then when the backlash comes, they play the victim.
The Indiana Fever signed Brianna Turner. People like me that follow the Indiana Fever, and she's promptly blocking folks. Namely, she blocked me.
We've seen it before with Angel Is, Alyssa Thomas, and AEL Wilson, and now Brianna Turner is doing the exact same thing.
There is her official tweet. Will society look back on U.S. politics as a comedy or a tragedy? I don't know if I'm supposed to laugh or cry when I watch the antics of the U.S. government. This is radically disrespecting a massive portion of the Indiana Fever fan base.
Clark never wanted her on this team in the first place. Clark made it clear she had no interest in playing alongside Turner, yet the Fever signed her anyway, and now the consequences are already showing.
We couldn't have 17.5-point Kennedy Carter because of her history and attitude, but y'all give us jealous-ass 1.2 points per game Brianna Turner? The Fever front office just set this offseason. Pick your locker room pieces wisely.
And this is what Fever president had to say about protecting their locker room.
Those are elements that each player that we have handpicked to be a part of this roster have that. Protect our locker room. Protect the culture that we've got started. That was very intentional.
This move isn't just bad, it could destroy team chemistry, alienate fans, and create tension inside the locker room. The Fever had one job built around Caitlin Clark, the player who revived this franchise. Instead, they brought in someone who stands against everything that made this team successful.
The Indiana Fever just signed a political activist that could bring in and torch your locker room.
Calculated move to undermine Caitlin Clark, or just the worst decision in franchise history? Let's break it all down.
It's like the Indiana Fever do not have a grip on all these new fans that have come in. 15,000 sending money in their direction. 15,000 tickets sold in 36 minutes. 60 to 70% supporters of the president that Brianna Turner is talking shit about.
Brianna Turner's arrival in Indiana has already proven to be one of the most controversial and divisive signings in recent WNBA history. Before even stepping onto the court for the Fever, she has managed to alienate and anger the very fan base that has brought the franchise back to life.
Politics has always been a hotly contested subject. Topics like DEI, immigration, tariffs, and the economy are current hot topics being argued in the public square. Both are in person and online. One of the participants in that public square is Brianna Turner of the Indiana Fever. Turner weighed in on the current political climate in the United States in light of the second term of President Donald Trump, who defeated Democrat candidate Kamala Harris in the 2024 presidential election.
But let's be honest, this isn't surprising. From the moment her signing was announced, fans knew this was going to be a problem, and now Turner is making it clear that she's more interested in pushing political narratives than actually contributing to the team.
Some of y'all are taking the Brianna Turner signing too far. It's one thing to be annoyed, even pissed, but I'm seeing, quote, protect the locker room being used as a dog whistle for thinly veiled racism. If you're white and doing that shit, maybe think about how it looks before you tweet. Hey, it's unbelievable. It really is.
Instead of embracing the massive wave of new supporters the Fever have gained thanks to Caitlin Clark, she's actively shutting them out, blocking fans on social media simply because they dare to criticize her.
You can expect from cowards. I would like to thank the Academy. Welp Turner is officially blocking fans following the fever. She's blocked me.
It's a pattern we've seen over and over again in the WNBA. Players want to talk trash, engage in divisive rhetoric, and then when people call them out, they act like victims.
Angel Reese talking about WNBA players should be paid like NBA players. As long as there are activist basketball players in this league like this that is going to continue to push fans away who just want the sport.
Brianna Turner is the latest in a growing list of WNBA players who seem to think they can say whatever they want without consequence. Just look at how this same cycle is played out with Angel Reese, Alyssa Thomas, and AEL Wilson.
We're supposed to believe this person miraculously loves Caitlin Clark and Indiana Fever fans all of a sudden. There's no way you're going to really sell me on this. This is crazy. Do you want people to spend money on your product? Locker room implosion.
Each of them has had moments where they've gone after fans, stirred up controversy, and then cried foul when the backlash came. Angel Reese, for example, spent months taking shots at Caitlin Clark, making passive-aggressive comments and fueling narratives that divided the league.
Before Caitlin Clark showed up, the Indiana Fever drew 4,000 to 5,000 fans in attendance. That jumped to what, 16,000? That's a lot of new fans.
But the moment people started holding her accountable, she played the victim, acting like she was being unfairly targeted. The same goes for Alyssa Thomas, who accused Clark's supporters of racism while ignoring the constant cheap shots Clark has endured on the court. A.A. Wilson, despite being one of the league's top stars, has engaged in similar behavior, making comments that only serve to further divide fans rather than unite them.
You players don't have that option to pick and choose who follows the league. Now, you can choose to push them away and in turn, never ever make better money. You're never going to make NBA money. Yeah, a lot of fans are tuning in for Caitlin Clark.
And now Brianna Turner is following the same playbook. Talk big, refuse to face criticism, and when people push back, act like they're the problem.
You can say a lot about Caitlin Clark's politics or whatever, but she's never blatantly come out, directly dogged out anybody.
But here's the thing, Caitlin Clark has never done this despite all the hate she's received, despite being targeted with flagrant fouls, ridiculous media narratives, and unfair treatment. She has never lashed out at fans.
Does their front office understand exactly what their new fan base is? Look, they just inherited 4 times larger fan base than they ever had before.
She has never tried to silence criticism by blocking people or acting like she's above accountability. She simply plays basketball and lets her game do the talking. That's why fans respect her. That's why she has built such a loyal following. She understands that if you want to be a star, if you want the attention and the fame, you also have to deal with the negativity that comes with it. Brianna Turner clearly does not understand that she wants the platform but not the responsibility. She wants to be in the spotlight but can't handle the fact that people have opinions about what she says and does.
This is the Indiana Fever equivalent of the CNN reporter standing out in front of the burning buildings talking about it's mostly a peaceful protest. Everything behind you is literally burning to the ground.
And the worst part, the Indiana Fever brought this on themselves. They knew exactly who Brianna Turner was before they signed her. They knew her history. They knew she was more focused on politics than basketball, and they knew she had already alienated the same fans that Caitlin Clark had brought to the league, and yet they still made this move. Why bring in a player who is actively working against the very people who have revitalized this franchise?
Put out the official signing. We have signed Brianna Turner. Welcome to the squad. Is the Indiana Fever literally going to start blocking Caitlin Clark?
It makes absolutely no sense from a basketball perspective. Turner isn't an elite player. She isn't a game changer. She isn't someone who is going to push the Fever into championship attention. She's a role player, nothing more, nothing less. So why take this risk? Why sign someone who is already creating unnecessary distractions before even playing a single game for the team?
Turner is a ring protector, high-level rebounder, all-around defensive scorer, 2-time All-WNBA first team. Are you kidding me? Hell, just add Cheryl Swoops to the locker room while you're at it.
It's a slap in the face to the fans who have invested their time, money, and energy into supporting this team. It's a slap in the face to Caitlin Clark, who has done everything right and now has to deal with yet another teammate who resents the attention she's getting. The reality is this isn't just about Brianna Turner. This is about the culture of the WNBA as a whole. Instead of embracing the massive growth and new fans that Caitlin Clark has brought to the league, the WNBA continues to push back. Against it, they continue to sign and promote players who make it clear that they don't respect or appreciate the fan base that has shown up in record numbers.
Brianna Turner from the Indiana Fever firing shots towards the fan base. Friendly reminder that I am against all forms of discrimination, including racism, sexism, homophobia, misogyny, and transphobia. I often advocate against these discriminatory practices. Feel free to unfollow, mute, or block me if that is bothersome to you. I will not bend the knee or change my online advocacy efforts to appease others. While I anticipate receiving criticism, hostility, and invalidation, I will not tolerate discrimination. I wonder, does that go for you too if you criticize white folks? If I'm not for you, there are about 150 other W players that you can support instead. I have interest in a life outside of my playing career. I do not expect or crave validation from social media. I have low expectations for Twitter, and I'm cognizant that many will reject my takes. You got that right. I literally have an MA in social justice and human rights, so of course I speak up.
They continue to create an environment where players feel comfortable alienating supporters and stirring up drama instead of focusing on the game. It's no wonder the league has struggled for so long. Instead of fostering a culture of growth and unity, they are allowing division to thrive, and now the Indiana Fever, one of the few teams that actually benefited from Caitlin Clark's presence, are making the same mistake. They had a golden opportunity to build something special, to create a team that could dominate on the court and capture the hearts of fans across the country, but instead they made a move that risks throwing it all away. And let's not forget, this isn't just about fan perception. This could have real consequences for the team's chemistry and performance on the court. Locker room dynamics are fragile when you introduce a player who is already at odds with the fan base, who is already creating tension. Before even playing a game, you risk derailing the momentum that has been built.